like we touched on in a previous video, 2027 elite wide receiver Julius Jones visiting Notre Dame this weekend. His teammate, five-star offensive tackle Mark Matthews, also visiting. What can you tell us about that?
Wow. Yeah. This was a big one. We learned about this on Monday. And there's also a big-time cornerback target for the Irish at St. Thomas Aquinas who's going to be visiting for the A&M game. Matthews is someone that I got to talk to at the Future 50 events at Bradenton IMG Academy in late June and spent some time with him because he has mentioned Notre Dame as a school to watch for him and whatnot. But I left that interview thinking, yeah, I don't feel like Notre Dame's going to be able to emerge here. But when you lock in the Notre Dame A&M game, like this makes him a big-time prospect to watch for me. I'm moving forward for Notre Dame. 6'5", 301 pounds, the number 6 overall player, number 2 offensive tackle per the Rivals industry ranking. You see what Rivals' own evaluators see him as in the 27 class, the number 2 player and number 1 tackle.
Love to see it.
You absolutely do. So, Notre Dame offered him in the spring, and Joe Rudolph's done a good job with Mark Matthews, who's a very bright, smart young man who looks at Notre Dame as a school with great academics, and like he notices, the Joe Alts of the world and the Mike McGlincheys and the Ronnie Stanleys, like these Notre Dame offensive linemen who have made a ton of money and drafted really high in the NFL draft. So Notre Dame has Mark Matthews' attention, and we'll see where it goes from here. And when you're Julius Jones' teammate, that only helps. I don't know if he's like going up on the same flight with Julius Jones Sr., but obviously that's a former Notre Dame running back. And, again, I feel like that only helps when you go up there. Mason, I got 4 other elite prospects coming to town this weekend. And we talked about that previous video where, maybe some guys who I think could be on commit watch, whether, if that's sooner or later. But man, when I was just scrolling the commit list, the visitor list, hope to be commit list, I was like, man, these 4 really stand out as national elite prospects. Joshua Dobson from Fort Mill, South Carolina, not exactly a hotbed for Notre Dame recruiting. Number 4 player, number 1 corner by the industry ranking. See, the Rivals ranking is basically the same. 5-star Joshua Dobson, and Kyle Kelly talked to his dad. You can find that article. It may be posted by the time this video is published. So check that out, bloominggold.com. Joshua Dobson, a huge visit. This will be his first time on campus. Munch on sales. We talk about him a lot. Mason from Lawrence North, Indianapolis. Do I think that Notre Dame's going to land him? It seems like they're on the outside looking in, but the number 3 receiver in the 27 class per the industry ranking, in-state prospect. Yeah, we'll see, but I think it's a big deal that he's coming to campus. Phoenix Evans, the number 61 overall player, number 7 cornerback in the 2028 class. This kid is a bona fide stud. Do you remember Caleb Beasley in the 2024 class?
Yep.
It was like, man, we saw him at Irish Invasion going into his junior year, and it was like, man, this kid looks absolutely electric. Notre Dame lost out on him. He ended up going to Tennessee. But Phoenix Evans, we saw at Irish Invasion, and this was going into his sophomore year. Just trying to think off the top of my head, I think he was the best DB there going into sophomore year. Just like lean, compact build, but like good, like it seemed to have good length. Very physical, very confident. Everything you want in a DB seemed like Phoenix Evans has. So I feel like he is going to be a big stock-up guy.
It's such a sweet name. Like, that's
Phoenix
the kind of guy I
Evans.
want on my team. That's a sweet name.
Hell yeah, Mason. Yeah. Don Bosco Prep plays really good ball in New Jersey, as well as Jackson Vaughn, Bergen Catholic, and Oradell, the number 26 overall player, number 5 edge. I think he may have been the best defensive end at Irish Invasion, which was loaded, by the way. Which, by the way, I've talked about Irish Invasion a ton in this video and the last one. It's interesting because going into that camp, talking to Notre Dame sources, they were kind of concerned that maybe a lot of kids didn't want to come camp. It's just like not the thing to do anymore. But there were so many players, big-time players in the 27, 28 classes that it was like, dang, I think you might ask why. I think it's because players want to come, like, get that Notre Dame offer. It's a bigger deal than it's been in a long time to get that offer from the Fighting Irish. And Jackson Vaughn and Phoenix Evans got offers from Notre Dame after that camp. So could have Notre Dame waited until Pot of Gold Day the next spring? Sure. But for some of them, just too good. Just go ahead and offer them.
For sure. And I'm liking Notre Dame building these pipelines too. Bergen Catholic's been good to
Yep.
Notre Dame in the past. So I'm building that
Old
familiarity.
Steve Angeli. Notre Dame
Yep.
great.
That's your guy. All right. And then lastly, Mike, you went, I believe, this last weekend and watched 2027 quarterback commit Teddy Jarrad. What were your thoughts there? I know you got some good film. Kind
Yeah.
of break down his game for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a 35-28 loss. So very close to that, if not that. Sorry. All right. So I'm just going to kind of just ramble as we go through this deep shot that was incomplete where he threw that ball. Like that looks like 50, 60 yards. That was the only like shot of the game. This was like, if you think about Notre Dame versus Miami, it was like there were like there's not many shots for CJ Carr in that game. I mean, he had the one to Malachi Fields for 20 or 30 yards or whatever, but it was a lot of like 6 or 7 yard like dump down passes and for Notre Dame
Screens.
against Miami. And that was it was like a lot in the RPO game for Teddy Jarrad. There's an RPO there on a slant. So I was a little disappointed that I didn't get to see Teddy just unleash. But man, in this quick game, there's another looking like an RPO. Like he was so good, so accurate in the intermediate game. And he played really, really well. That throw right there, he actually threw to his younger brother, who's a class of 2029 tight end, who I feel like the Irish will a decent chance they end up offering him. So Jarrad went 21 of 39 for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. This was the North Cobb's 4th game of the season, and he hadn't thrown a touchdown pass, believe it or not, leading into this game. He had played well, just ran it in the red zone in 3 tonight, or excuse me, on Friday night. He played well, 6 carries for 46 yards. You asked me before we started recording this, like, what's the comp for him? And just talking about stylistic comp, not like I think he's going to be this guy. Like, that's impossible to say, but just, and I mean, you can disagree with me, Mason, just watching this. Like, it seemed like a half an inch or an inch taller than CJ Carr. Like the mobility, it's got like plus mobility. It's not like a Steve Angeli or like a Jack Cohn back there, but not like Lamar Jackson or Riley Leonard. While also just being dynamite in the short to intermediate passing game. And again, you saw on the incompletion deep one, he can absolutely let it rip. So I thought he had a really good game. Mechanics I thought were very clean, Mason. I'm not going to show it in this video, but you can find it on my Twitter page. I post like a warm up clip so you can see like more up close and personal. Yeah, very clean, very quick. It feels like in watching him that he has to take some off of the ball. Like he can really let it rip. Any like reasons for like, I don't want to say negatives, but like anything of the not like, positive variety. I thought at times, and this may be just like a byproduct of the RPO system. I thought he stared down his number one receiver at times, but then also he would deliver a pinpoint pass, so it worked out. But I thought at some points he did that. Other points, I feel like he left the pocket a little too early. It's actually fun. His best throw of the night. Actually, this one right here, you can kind of see him leaving the pocket before he had to. This was his best throw. This was them down a touchdown to go win the game, and his receiver dropped that. So it was like I think he got outside the pocket maybe a little too early on some throws, but also he delivered a pass like that. So it's hard to fault him. So yeah, overall was fantastic. Disappointed that I get to see him rip it, but I don't think that was his fault. And really any, those last couple of items I just talked about were nitpicks more than anything, because I thought he was tremendous. So my first 2 stops were to see Noah Grubbs and Teddy Jarrad, in terms of going to see recruits this season, and both definitely looked impressive.
Yeah, future teammates. Yeah, my takeaways from Jarrad, he just looks so tall back there, just tall and lanky. He's got plenty of room
Yes.
to
Yeah.
add weight in the future, moves well. And then a lot of times in high school film, you see, they got to work through it, but like a hitch in their throwing motion, and he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
He's just so smooth.
And this up.
There you
I
go.
said I wasn't, but yeah, like you see, like it's very clean, very repeatable. And this was what I was saying. Like I feel like he's taken a lot off of these. Like he
Yeah.
can let it rip, super accurate. I think that's probably the best part of his game. Other than like I love his stature that you talked about, but his accuracy, dude. Like he looks like really really good. So wasn't the highest completion percentage He had some drops and stuff, but he also fumbled. He like it was like an RPO where I don't know if like the running back maybe bumped into him or something, but he did fumble and then it went for a touchdown. And at that point I was like, man, this is going to be a tough win for them to come back. They had 4 fumbles and all, were recovered by Cass. So Teddy Jarrad squad did lose, but again, I was very impressed with him on the night.
Yeah, and it's good to see him play against good competition. I don't know how highly Cass is
Very
rated,
high.
but
Yeah, it's a good team. Yeah.
sometimes you see in high school specifically like these highly rated quarterbacks playing against 1A schools or something like that, throwing bombs. Like
Yeah.
you or
Tyler
I could
Buckner.
probably do that.
Tyler Buckner accounted for 81 touchdowns as a sophomore. And it's just like, yeah, but Tyler looked incredible, but yeah, didn't play against great competition. Teddy definitely is.